Hello and welcome to this episode 37 of VocTer Gaming. I am your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Rain, and we are here with Game 2 of the Best of 5 Battle.net series between these two players, spawning in the north position. He is the son of Boxer, our red Terran, SlayerSMMA. And spawning in the south, he is the blue Terran, former GSL Champion, currently one game up in this Best of 5 series. He is IMMvp. Okay, so this map is Crossfire. This is one of the GSL maps again, and has some very interesting things go on in TVT in here. Now, there's this central area here, the two high grounds here, which allow you, with the zone watcher here as well, they allow you to set up really good siege tank lines. It forces your opponent to come through these little chokes or up these ramps, and so it's really hard to break any kind of siege tank defensive line there. So a lot of this game is centered around who can take and hold the middle. Now, of course, in TVT we've recently seen a kind of a metagame shift, as we call it, where it's not so much Marine Marauder Medevac Siege Tank or Marine Tank Medevac or Marine Tank Viking lately. We're seeing a just full-on mech, very little Marines, very little Marauders, just tons of Hellions, into kind of the Sky Terran style, the Viking battlecruiser, which completely obviously negates Siege Tanks and Hellions as they can't shoot up. Now we see. Now, interestingly, MMA has done this thing called Gas First. It's where you take this refinery before you build the barracks. And if we watch this finish, I'm just going to show you exactly why you do that. For those of you who are kind of newer to the game and aren't really sure or don't play Terran, you take that gas first, because you watch, that little counter is going to tick to 100 just as this finishes. You see that? That SCV comes off, and immediately you have the factory. That is the fastest possible factory in the game, which means, of course, you can straight away start pumping Hellions. Now, you get the tech lab here, but that's not for your Marines. That's for when you build the starport. You're going to lift the starport, lift the barracks, put the starport on there, and immediately get out a Banshee. This is the fastest possible Banshee you can get in the game. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he goes for that. Oh, he is in fact using it to make a Reaper. Now, I like that. Reapers are very, very good. They are essentially the Speedling of Terran. They give you really good map control. You can move about, you can scout your opponent. Because it has this ability to jump up cliffs like here, he's not forced to go through ramps, so he can pass any kind of bunker that is around. So for that reason, they are really, really good. Just to get one or two as you go out. I mean, you can even do a thing called Reaper Fast Expand, where you just get this one Reaper out for scouting. You see what your opponent's doing, and if he's expanding, you expand as well, because you know he is not going to be attacking you. Now, interestingly, not getting the starport is instead going to go straight into Blue Flame Hellions. I like that on this map. I don't think this map is the best for Banshee. Now, as we see, MVP is getting the starport, so it looks like he's going to go the Banshee route. But because of knowing exactly where your opponent is, as this Hellion and Reaper combination are now going to come in, could do a lot of damage here if he's not careful, but obviously doesn't want to lose either of these units without having scouted his opponent first. MVP, of course, knowing that the Reaper is going to be here, but the Reaper does get in. He sees everything. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows it's going to be Banshee, and what this means is this starport, as that dies, this starport he's building over here will not pump out a Banshee, at least not at first. The first thing it will do is get a Viking. Now, the other option is, of course, to build some Marines quickly out of this reactor racks, and to build a Raven off the tech lab here. But there's just not enough time with researching the Blue Flame Hellion. He's not going to have enough time. So for me, he's going to want to get Vikings out as fast as possible. Possibly going to switch it with the racks. Yes, in fact, is going to reactor Vikings out of this. I like that. That's really good defense. What it means, of course, though, is he's going to have to save up as many scans as he can on this, as he only has the... he doesn't even have one so far, in fact. He has been using his mules very, very effectively. And what this means, of course, is that when the Banshee Cloak is finished, it can do a lot of damage to the economy line. Cloak does take alongside. It takes about the same time as 2 Banshees, but with the distance here, it should be up well before this Banshee gets to the opponent's base. There's a nice long distance. Now, the reason I don't like Banshee play on this map so much, it's still good, like it's still effective as these Hellions now come in. Blue Flame against the normal Flame, 1 Hellion there, can do a lot of damage. Blue Flame upgrade still really good, but this map is very narrow. There's not many ways you can send this Banshee that Vikings can't find it if they're out. Now he is getting a Raven out. That is really nice. Pumps out these 2 Vikings. In fact, are they going to meet? They're going to meet it. Is he paying attention? Oh, he is going to lose this unless it can cloak in time. And if my computer doesn't crash. Oh, Cloak is like half a second from being done. And he loses that Banshee. That is horrendous from MVP. That is why I don't like it. It's too narrow. You can't sneak that Banshee in if your opponent knows you're going for it. Now, MMA is being very sneaky here. He's building his second command center, and he's building it at the gold. He's going to hope MVP doesn't scout this, because if he doesn't, this is going to give him a huge economic advantage. Of course, gold minerals for the newer player are worth double the blue ones that you find at the other bases on this map. So this can be really good. If you can get this saturated, drop a ton of mules, you can make a lot. But unfortunately for him, this Banshee has tried to sneak up this way and found the gold, which means that is not going to get finished. Absolutely horrendous luck for MMA. I really don't know what he's going to do here, whether he's just going to cancel it or going to try and rebuild, but it's going to be so hard to defend now that MVP knows it's there. Unfortunately, this Raven is going to come here, and it's completely fine against the Banshee. Banshee's going to shoot downwards, which means, again, this Viking's going to kill it. Cloak completely wasted. That's a complete waste of an upgrade for MVP, as of course that Raven completely puts a stop to it. So instead, he is now getting Siege Tech. He is bumping out Siege Tanks now. A complete tech switch there, stopping the Banshee. Going to have to get some Vikings though. Oh no! Is in fact going to keep producing the Banshees. He's going to try again. I'm not sure that that's the best of ideas. For me, I think what he should be doing now is pumping out at least a few Vikings to try and counter the Viking numbers of MMA. Otherwise, he's just going to have complete vision control. Again, he's trying to take down that other Banshee. Now, these Hellions could do a lot of damage here. Hellions not so good against the tanks, but very good against the Bio Army. And the auto turret, the Raven, is really going to help here. I apologise that my computer seems to like freezing at the moment. Normally it's perfectly fine, but I guess we're kind of running hot today. Now, this is finished. He needs to morph it to an orbital soon, unless he's going to choose to planetary it. Now, these sea tanks are pushing their way through here. They are going to completely mess up the Hellions, as we see. Completely losing my grip there. He's sieging up right outside the base of MMA. This could do a lot of damage if these things stop getting the pathing completely wrong. Unfortunately, loses everything there in one fell swoop. Is going to have to withdraw now. He doesn't have enough to hold or contain. Especially if he doesn't want to lose that Banshee. Now, MVP is expanding to the natural finally. This is a really late expand. He was hardcore one basing on that 1-1-1 kind of all in. And unfortunately for him, it has not worked at all. Now, he has got somewhat of a contain here. He can't push out from here without being attacked. This Viking here is just to kind of spot. Needs to be careful not to get caught by those Marines. He is lifting this command center now from the gold. I do believe he lost all the SCVs here to this Banshee. I apologise for missing that. I was looking at the contain.